dialogue. We believe that everyone has something unique to bring to these political, economic, social, and cultural conversations, and we don't shy away from the hard conversations about current events. We endeavor to be a beacon of hope and understanding, while boldly challenging listeners to think more deeply about difficult topics that impact us all. With this in mind, our mission statement at KBLA Talk 1580 is simple: to create an inclusive platform that promotes civil discourse through honest dialogue and encourages personal growth among our listeners, so they can become the active agents of change. Our vision is to establish ourselves as the premier radio network with relevant programming across the beloved community, connecting people through shared experiences and collective power for lasting impact beyond these challenging times.
The Ferrari or Jaguar, switching 4 lanes with the top down, screaming out money ain't a thing.
Bubble hard in the double law, flashing the rings with the window crack, holla back, money ain't a thing.
Jigga, I don't like it if it don't gleam. In the hell with the price, but the money ain't a thing.
Put it down hard for my dogs that's locked in the bang. When you hit the bricks, new whips, money ain't a thing. Come on.
Yeah, I wanna floss with us. Come on. All across the board, we burn it up. Drop a little paper, baby, toss it up. Slacking on your pimpin', turn it up. See the money ain't a thing.
Flex the road, sign a check for your.
Welcome to Wealth Building Wednesdays, where we center Black, women, and BIPOC-owned businesses, highlight opportunities and initiatives for underrepresented entrepreneurs, and center socially innovative enterprises, building generational prosperity, fostering real networking, and recycling Black dollars. It's Wealth Building Wednesdays on KBLA Talk 1580.
And it is my pleasure to introduce another Black business owner. Corey Whitted is a juicer, discovering the benefits of real cold-pressed juices while working at his office in Larchmont Village in the Westside of LA, and noticed that drinking juice every day gave him energy and overall health, so he made it into a business. Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm good. So the Crenshaw Juice Company was born in Larchmont, huh?
I mean, yeah. I mean, like it's the inspiration kind of came from that, because there's a lot of pressed juice companies, in Larchmont and in that area. And when I moved my office from there, or even when I'm at home, I found myself traveling all the way to the west side, the northwest side, to go get some cold pressed juice.
Yeah, it is true. It's part of the whole food desert scenario, right? Where you can. It's easy to find fast food in South LA, not so easy to find fruits and vegetables.
Yeah, absolutely right. Like our our problem, our diaspora, for lack of a better word, is almost every day. We're friends or family. Like, oh, what we gonna eat? And there's nothing to eat. There's nothing to eat. It's healthy, There's maybe a handful, if not even a handful, of restaurants that offer healthy options. My mission is really trying to get the hood healthy, because it's easy. It's just change your diet, and it kind of stresses me out a little bit when I see people with diabetes and old and overweight just drinking soda and Kool-Aid and stuff. It's such an easy fix. Maybe it's not that easy.
Well, I think once you're in it, it's easy. Once you fall off, it's not so easy, right? Because all those things, the simple carbohydrates of white flour, white bread, white pasta, white rice, and the sugar are very, very addictive.
Right. So, and then, we as a community, we suffered the most from just diet related disease, diabetes and cholesterol and heart problems, high blood pressure, hypertension. It's very easily corrected through diet or even just supplemental diet.
What do you mean by supplemental diet? You're saying eat the same junk you're eating now, but add vegetables? Is that what supplemental diet means? I'm not familiar.
I mean that you know, some people take it as an all or nothing kind of
Right.
approach.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I'm saying, like, I don't like vegetables. Okay, well, just have, I eat meat every day, 3 times a day. So why don't you limit your meat intake to once a week or once a day? So, like, it's a gradual lifestyle change. That's what I mean by supplemental.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, like go, vegan crazy, like, oh, I can't touch that,
Yeah, no,
I'm
I
just
think
saying,
that's
that's what I
right. I
mean by
mean, I think that's
supplement.
absolutely right. I've always said that when I became a health enthusiast, the first thing I gave up was ice cream, regular ice cream. There's so many alternatives now, and just one thing at a time that I kind of eliminated and added more and more vegetables. You say your juice is authentic cold press juice, and it's organic. Explain what authentic cold press juice is.
So, meaning that a lot of people, it's like a buzzword now. So they claim that their juice is cold press when it's actually like centrifuged, which means that if you look at some restaurants, they have, or just the old Jack Lane juicers, how they press the vegetables or fruit inside this machine and it spins very fast, and then you get the juice out of it.
Mm-hmm.
The issue with those machines is that it tends to heat it up and oxygenate your juice, so you're losing a lot of the minerals and vitamins. So cold pressing, it's just pressed using hydraulic pressure to get the juice and out of your recipe or out of your blend. So it's probably the best way to maximize your mineral and vitamin potential.
Okay, that makes sense. I think a lot of things that we think are juice aren't even juice, right? It's something colored water with sugar and a little flavoring of something, and so it's good to make those distinctions. One of the things we hear as parents is that juice is not good for our kids because it's too much sugar.
Right. So, like, those juices, you have to be careful. Basically, if you want pure juice, the ingredients should just be, that's it. You know what I mean? So if you have apple, lemon, ginger, that should be the only ingredients in your juice. It shouldn't be like, some people try to sugarcoat it and they say, oh, it's sugar cane sweetener or agave. So they try to add all these additives when you don't really need it, because the fruits have natural juices to make it naturally sweet. Going back to organic, like, all my produce is organic, and I get my produce the same place as like the big health food chains like Irwin's and Lassen's. Like, I have the same fruit distributor, I have the same machine. So my level and quality of my product is up there with the big boys.
All right, and mostly we can find your product where? I know you have I see you have a cart. I see you out on the Shaw doing your thing. So where do we find your product?
So right there, that's where I'm at daily, if not on my Instagram at Crenshaw Juice Co. I do a lot of catering events also. It's become a trend right now to have the cold pressed juice to come to like a movie set or to do an activation, because the world right now, like post pandemic, is on a health wave. So, which is positive, which is real positive.
Yeah, it is positive. Do what we can.
And I think also because of social media, I think a lot of Black people are getting into it. Some of it's misinformation, but a lot of it's really good information. It's just getting people aware of a lifestyle change.
Oh, misinformation. Yeah. Well, I saw something where health info that we get from Instagram influencers is like 60% of it is wrong. But if it's encouraging people to drink juice, that's good. I know that My old hairstylist told me that she noticed women that were doing vegetable juicing saw their hair growing. And I got on a vegetable juicing trip because of something else, just because I was trying to reduce my body fat. And my hair grew. It's really like all the way growing like weeds right now. So I think that, there's all kinds of side benefits. I'm not an Instagram influencer, but the side benefits and health benefits of juicing are pretty underrated, right?
Yeah, it's pretty underrated. One of my newest missions that just came up maybe 3 days ago is you heard of blue zones?
Yeah, but I
Blue zone.
I don't know what it means though.
Blue zone are certain geographical areas in the world where people live to be 100 plus and have a healthy, have don't have a lot of disease or disability,
right. Yeah.
And it's a movie, right? And all of them, are healthy diet, exercise, less stress, and it's possible. It's really possible for us as a community to extend our lives through diet, which includes, vegetables and fruits, exercise, and get our mind right. So, I mean, we can really increase our quality of life, with the diet being a central part of it.
Yeah, no doubt. And to me, it's never been just about extending life. I want to feel good while I'm here. Even if I'm only here for another 20 minutes, I need a good quality of life while I'm here.
And let me tell you something, no cap, I was juicing, I juice every single day, and people notice it. It's like you literally begin to glow. Like I've heard that term, people like, people, man, you're glowing, dude. What are you doing? And it's the juice. It's insane. It's insane that how like it's been a secret right in front of our face all these years. And it's the program works. I've seen it. I've seen people, that have had high blood pressure, like with a high blood pressure, hypertension headache, and they get one of the bee juices, and it has immediate effects.
Yeah.
So
I mean, for sure. Every time I do a juice cleanse, I get that comment that I'm glowing, and that's the glow that doesn't wash off when you wash your face. So that's the best kind of glow from the inside out. Well, Corey, tell us what else you want us to know about your product. I guess we're following you on Instagram at Crenshaw Juice Co. Tell us how we can support your business.
Let me tell you what's a side piece of this business is the merch, the merchandise. Like, all my merch, my T-shirts and hoodies, it's been pretty hot. You know what I mean? Like people really want it. So it's gradually becoming its own thing, like its own brand. So, if you want to grab some merch. And
that's on Instagram also?
That's on Instagram as well.
Okay. All right.
Crenshaw Juice Co. But, send me a DM, follow me at Crenshaw Juice Co. And, stop by and just try it out. I have a big green umbrella. I usually post my schedule on Instagram. Instagram is probably my most effective and most direct way to contact and interact with the company.
Okay.
Well,
it's
got a lot of traction.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I'm always happy to hear Black businesses thriving and businesses that further the well-being of our community thriving as well. It's a pleasure to meet you, Corey Whitted, and I am following you now.
One more thing. Another aspect of this business is because our neighborhood is rapidly changing demographically, right? Through gentrification, or whatever you want to call it, So it was really important for me to establish a local business immediately. So, we can build and won't get lost in the sauce as the neighborhood changes.
Absolutely. I think a lot of folks are doing that, and I'm proud of us for doing that. I see that amongst gentrification, Black businesses continue to sprout up everywhere in Leimert Park and in South LA. So that's a good thing. We will not just be erased Not that easily. Well, Corey, it's a pleasure to meet you, and I look forward to tasting your juice.
Pull up. Thank you. Have a good morning.
Absolutely, I will. It's a great time to call me, 800-920-1580. Let's talk about it. KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
Hi, it's Tavis Smiley. KBLA Talk 1580 is inviting you to join us on Saturday, September 16th, 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. for our very first economic empowerment event for the community. This event is free and is powered by Caltrans. We're doing this in association with Rambo House, and here's Rambo to tell you more.
Contracts. I'm going to say it again for all of us small business owners out there. Contracts. Rambo House, KBLA, Tavis, me. Oh my God, this is going to be massive. I truly thank Caltrans for giving us the opportunity to focus on contracts. Listen, that's what it's all about to be a small business in LA. That's how we hire our own. That's how we expand our community is contracts. KBLA1580.com is for you to have a seat at our contracts-focused event. Contract Ready does it again. We had over 900 last time. So you guys know how exciting this is. And if you just think that you want to get into contracts and you're close to it, bring your friends out for September 16th at the Marriott Hotel. Listen, you know where to register. KBLA1580.com. Come see me. I can't wait to see you. Let's do it, Tavis.
So be sure to go to KBLA1580.com for all the details. We'll see you Saturday, September 16th.
When you're young, life is full of choices. Don't let opioids like highly addictive and deadly fentanyl take away your life with just one wrong pill. Addiction is a disease that can affect anyone at any age. But there is a choice to get help for this disease. Find medically proven treatment options, including virtual, at choosemat.org.
You can do it all by yourself, baby girl. What's your name? Let me talk to you. Let me buy you a drink.
Spilled your drink? Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up spills quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less than the leading ordinary brand. So you can get back to your night. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Labor Day savings are here at Lowe's. Get up to an additional $1,500 off select major kitchen appliances. And save $100 off select laundry pairs, priced $1,396 or more. Plus, make your big purchases easy with Lowe's Pay, our new flexible buy now, pay later payment option. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 9/6. Appliance savings vary based on purchase amount. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com for details. Subject to credit approval.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DePrima on First Things First.
Speaking of First Things First, today's show is brought to you by Wealth Management Financial Advisors. They got tax services, financial planning, and more. And if you haven't done your taxes yet, they're due in October. Whether you're an individual, a nonprofit, or a small business, get up to date so you can be eligible for all the things, the tax breaks, the grants, the loans. Give them a call at 562-427-8877, 562-427-8877. Wealth Management Financial Advisors. It is the perfect time to call me, 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. Whew, I'm glad you're here with me. And, you know, Ed got us talking about the Trump things. There's so many of them, I find myself struggling to keep track of them all. But I'm still hopeful that an orange jumpsuit is on the way. And that, in fact, this man will have some accountability, some culpability. I don't know if I'd bet the farm on it, but I do think it seems like he is really on the run, right? On so many fronts right now. Attorney General Letitia James coming for him. We know that in New York. This is not a criminal case, but nevertheless, asking the judge to sanction the former president and his attorneys for frivolous lawsuits, saying they keep filing lawsuits that have already been rejected by the courts in order to try to dismiss this $250 million suit against him. And she wants the courts to sanction him because you can't just keep bringing up the same thing over and over again. Well, I guess he has been doing that his whole life as a litigious billionaire or purported billionaire. All these cases might have him in the M category rather than the B category. But she wants it to stop. We'll see where the judge goes with that. That case is scheduled for a bench trial on October 2nd. And really, that's the Trump organization. So it's not just him as an individual, but also Eric Trump, Donald Trump, and the whole organization, although he is named as part of that. It's just hard to keep track of all these 4 criminal indictments. Then you've got several civil suits swirling around and more on the way. Let's go to Big Phil, calling us from L.A. Hi, Big Phil.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Creek didn't rise this morning. Double don't sleep. Oh, you busy. Oh, my goodness. You know what? Why they keep putting that lame duck up there, Mr. McConnell? The man don't even know where he's at. I mean, it's sad to say the way, they most powerful, great leader. And there's one guy, McCain had, remember years ago, he's running his general. And I say, General, where you at? You're Chicago, General. It's really embarrassing, to be honest with you.
It's terrible.
It's sad, but it's funny.
Well, let me ask you something about McConnell. Like, supposedly the doctor says there's no evidence of a stroke or any kind of seizure. So what's happening then? Like, if I'm freezing up and I can't talk, I don't want you to tell me what's not happening. I need you to tell me what is happening.
That's what I'm saying, Dominique. Come on, we know the man's a sick man. That's all they got to work with. They're going to use it until they can't use it no more. Like, come on now. It's like the guy, like the general. You don't know where he's at half the time. Where you at? I'm in New York. Okay? And Donald Trump, let me tell you something. Christie and all them guys, they talk about the Republicans, the rebate, what they're going to do and all that stuff. And so right around, they all raise their hand but one. Okay? It's a bunch of BS. You know how it goes. They no matter what they say to talk about, they're still going to go with it, okay?
But what happens if we reelect him, if they reelect him? Because, I know you and I ain't doing it, Big Phil, but some folks might. What happens if Trump is reelected?
Well,
I've heard people talking about leaving the country, but I think it might be hype.
Yeah, but it wouldn't surprise me, like I say. And then another thing, let me tell you, this guy, he's black and Hispanic. They're all the worst ones for our race of people. He's supposed to be a leader. They're going to show you how much what they care about you. He had a nerd come out with a big old bag. I think he bailed out with Malcolm X shirt out. Remember the famous picture of Malcolm X looking out the window? He had the shirt on Malcolm X. Man, please, give me a break. Okay? Give me a break.
It's funny how these folks run and try to hide behind Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Rosa Parks, Scottsboro Boys. As soon as they get in trouble, even though they'd be the first one kicking the dirt over their grave or locking him up in jail forever.
That's right. See how black people we care about you, dude. Okay, I'm going to end with this. We got a great Thanksgiving from my client, one of my clients, Barbara Morris. You can come out there, let Travis know. We're going to have all the log families out. Climax is going to be out there this Saturday from 12 to 8, okay?
Man, you guys be doing a lot for Barbara Morrison. I love that. May she rest in peace. May her light continue to shine continuously. I love that.
She's one of the great artists, jazz artists. She gave so much to the community. It's just unbelievable. She's one of the greats, like a lot of great people. She's a great lady. She deserves that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let Travis know. But look at down there. I love you. You guys stay safe. Never go to sleep. And look both ways before you go across the street. Okay?
I shall.
Much love.
Let's take that R out of Tavis. Okay. We do that. He says he alternates between Tavis and Travis. But, hey, I love that. This Saturday, Barbara Morrison, if you could get down to Leimert, certainly there is nobody that I can think of that deserves to be praised and uplifted like Barbara Morrison. So that's a very good thing. Keeping track of all the Trumpisms. I try to do it because, as Ed Sanders said, it makes me smile. The idea of accountability, not because I'm a vindictive person, but just because I don't think anyone should be above the law. I know if it was you or me, we would already be in jail. We would have been in jail for Trump University. Never mind E. Jean Carroll. Never mind, the Trump organization and their malfeasance. Never mind never mind all of the crimes that this guy has committed. We would have been under the jail. So why does this guy get a pass? That's why I smile. But then again, I try to pay attention to everything else that's going on too, because we remember the trap of the last election where we got so sucked in to the Trump three-ring circus that we forgot to organize, we forgot to pay attention, we forgot to take him seriously. Election before last, I should say. And he slipped right in there. And I do think it could happen again, even though I'm saying I think his popularity will wane. But they're not above cheating, as Dr. Gerald Horne pointed out. And we could have a progressive FAFO moment, F around and find out. I understand why people are going after AOC for saying she would support Biden. But then again, maybe she's just perceiving the imminent threat of what a second Trump presidency would look like. Trump unleashed. I mean, he was already unleashed when he was supposed to be leashed. But imagine him as a lame duck president who doesn't have to run again. He's already told us he will dismantle the agencies that take care of regulating our air and such. He's already weakened them considerably. He's already said he will beef up the power of the presidency to make it more like an authoritarian dictatorship kind of situation led by a strong man. And who knows what else is on the way. So maybe that's where AOC is looking. Maybe she's thinking it's worth it to hitch her wagon to Biden right now and do everything possible to prevent a Trump presidency, considering especially the accomplishments of this no-riz having president that we currently have voted into the White House. News, traffic, and sports, and then more on KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. In Georgia, Fulton County Superior Court Judge Scott McAfee has scheduled a hearing for today in the Georgia election interference case. McAfee said the hearing was to decide on severing some defendants from the main case, saying in a court order that he intends to ask the state for a good faith estimate on the time frame needed to present its case at a joint trial of all 19 defendants. Every defendant in former President Trump's Georgia case is pleading not guilty. In Pennsylvania, Philadelphia Police Commissioner Danielle Outlaw is leaving that department. Mayor Kenney announced yesterday that Outlaw is taking a leadership role with another nearby agency. Outlaw became the first black woman to lead the Philadelphia Police Department in early 2020. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Right now at Lowe's, buy one, get one 50% off on select interior and exterior paints and exterior stains via Lowe's gift card rebate. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 9/6. More terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/rebates for details. While supplies last.
Is this the tiger? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
I'm a bad man. A major upset in the U.S. Open tennis tournament. Unseeded Ben Shelton, a 20-year-old brother from Atlanta, took out Francis Tiafoe in straight sets in the quarterfinals. Tiafoe is ranked 10th in the world and was the number 6 seed. Tuesday's match was the first time two African Americans met in the U.S. Open quarterfinals. Shelton moves on to Friday's semifinals. He'll face Novak Djokovic of Serbia. The first AP Top 25 college football rankings are out. 2-0 USC is number 6. Colorado checks in at number 22. First time for Colorado in the top 25 since 2020. The Lakers added some size to their bench. They signed 6'10" veteran Christian Wood to a 2-year deal. Wood averaged 16 points last season with Dallas. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Maisha Cairo here with a quick recap from my time at JP Morgan Chase's Advancing Black Wealth Tour. There were speakers Ian Dunlap, Damon John, Lynn Richardson, MC Light, Don Kennedy, to name a few. Take a listen to what Justin Grant, Community Development Lead at Chase's Advancing Black Pathway, let's see what he had to say.
So I'm Justin Grant. I lead community development and national partnerships for JP Morgan Chase's Advancing Black Pathway strategy. And so we're focused on strengthening the economic foundation of black communities, and we're making targeted investments in programs like the Advancing Black Wealth Tour to help us get our tools and resources out to the community to drive sustained impact over time.
So when it comes to black and brown people, it sounds like Chase is making it their personal responsibility not only to facilitate these events, but to educate and provide resources. So, Mr. Grant, I have to ask, what does wealth building look like for the individual?
It's home ownership, it's having that freedom to be able to start your own business and create jobs in your community, and it's having that long-term plan towards retirement, having that vision for what you want your life to be, and you have the resources to actually live it.
I'm Maisha Cairo. Thanks for sticking around. That was my recap from Chase's Advancing Black Wealth Tour. First stop was here in LA, and they're taking it national.
Extreme heat increases your risk of heat illness and death. Warning signs of heat exhaustion include muscle cramps, headache, and nausea. Signs of heat stroke include a fever of 103 or higher, confusion, and loss of consciousness. Protect yourself by limiting time spent outdoors, staying hydrated, and staying cool in air-conditioned spaces. Learn how to stay safer from extreme heat at heatreadyca.com. Brought to you by the state of California.
The Black Hollywood Education and Resource Center proudly presents its 25th annual Real Black Men Short Film Showcase, September 22nd through September 24th. Join us for the opening night celebration on Friday, September 22nd, and enjoy the short film showcase featuring 47 films by emerging black male directors from across the country. Continuing on Saturday, September 23rd and Sunday, September 24th. All events will be held at the Regal LA Live Cinemas, 1000 West Olympic Boulevard in downtown Los Angeles. For more information and tickets, visit bherc.org. That's bherc.org or call 323-957-4656. That's 323-957-4656. Don't miss your chance to celebrate excellence in black cinema all weekend long at the Real Black Men Short Film Showcase. See you there.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Find a righteous rage and don't be afraid to say what you see. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
We are, and I want to remind you that today's edition of First Things First is brought to you by Wealth Management Financial Advisors. If you're not up to date on your taxes, being in compliance could save you money, time, and even garnishment of wages. Yes, they can even garnish your retirement checks. They offer tax services, financial planning, and more. Find them at wealthmanagementlb.com. That's wealthmanagementlb.com. Speaking of wealth and management and wealth building Wednesday, reparations. I think we should all be talking about it every day as much as we can in mixed company, private company, family, friends, your ethnic group, outside your ethnic group, your economic group, outside your economic group, because number one, that's how we normalize the conversation. And number two, we need people to get over themselves and understand that this is going to happen. It can happen now or it could happen later. And I think that is how I remember, and this may seem like a weird analogy, but during the trial of O.J. Simpson, which had people very polarized, it became a litmus test for white folks to kind of ask you, if you were black, what you thought of the O.J. case. It was your chance to low-key swear fealty to them, right? By saying, oh, O.J. did it or whatever. And that's why Neely Fuller, the African-American scholar, had to make the point in his book, The United Compensatory Code System. There's another word for that, another word in that title, but you know what I'm talking about. He said the answer to that question, what do you think about the O.J. Simpson case, is I know two things. 2 people are dead, and I did not do it. Just the facts, please. And I think with reparations, it's not as polarized. Well, that's not true. The country's pretty polarized. I just don't hang around a real polarized crowd, so maybe I'm not as subjected to it. During the OJ trial, I was working more in mainstream America. But anyway, it's similar in that people want you to say, oh, reparations, that's not going to happen. And by people, I mean people who aren't black or Japanese American. Oh, that's never going to happen. Oh, that was too long ago. Well, black people will just waste their money. Those are low-key loyalty oaths to the status quo, the dominant group, a.k.a. white America, the wealthy class. Oh, reparations is just a pipe dream. But after a while, if folks keep looking to you and you and your neighbor and your friend and their friend, and we're all saying, oh, yeah, it's going to happen. It's just a matter of how and when. It's going to happen. It's a debt that was owed. It is a contract that was never fulfilled. It doesn't matter how you emotionally feel about it or what your thoughts are. Read the fine print. Then it will make people figure out how to get over themselves. And I think that's important. And this, we always talk about how solving racism is not black people's job because we didn't create it. And white folks need to work on, people that aren't black need to work on helping their other friends and family members who aren't black to renounce anti-blackness everywhere and every way that it shows up. And I think reparations is something that we can work on, should work on. Yeah, it's great if allies do it, but we don't want to rely on that. Oh, the predominant public opinion among black Americans is that we deserve reparations, is that we will get reparations, is that it's not a pipe dream, is that it's none of your business how we spend the money, is that it's a contract that America signed that has not been fulfilled, and we are owed our 40 acres and a mule in whatever form that might actually take. We have to hold the line because this is an historic moment when finally the conversation about reparations has moved out of the fringes and into the mainstream, something that we thought would take much longer. It has been accelerated by social media. It has been accelerated by this young generation. It has been accelerated by the elevation of consciousness in this country, led by young folks, by the way, I would add. So we got to hold the line. When you make progress, you got to push the line, hold the line. No regression, no backwards. Only Sankofa, no backwards, only Sankofa. We go back and get it. Look back to go forward, not go back to a time when we were slaves, i.e., make America great again. I like to talk to you about things that sometimes don't get as much play as I think they should. And there's been a couple of really interesting reports about what is going on with Facebook and some of the other big social media platforms now that they are being held accountable to pay for the news that they post. It's content. You're using it to bring people into your platform, which gives you money because you sell the data off the eyeballs that come to your platform. And you also sell ads. Well, Facebook and some of the other big platforms are moving away from news because they don't want to pay the New York Times, the San Francisco Chronicle, the LA Times, CNN, the people that are actually doing the legwork, the reporting, and paying for that news gathering. They don't want to have to compensate them, so they rather flood your timeline with even more junk and misinformation. And this is really serious. I've long said that I think, and you know, I'm sure many people don't agree with me, probably even the owner of this radio station, but I feel like all of those of us, especially on social media, but all of those of us in television and radio and whatever, who use the reporting and the work of these organizations should pay something, even if it's just a few pennies, because it would add up. Because what's happening now is you're seeing newspapers cutting back, right? News organizations, they're dropping investigative reporters and slimming down their staff. And it's not fair because all of us are using that work that they do. And investigative reporting is expensive. And I subscribe to everything because I want to support these news agencies. But even the Canadian Prime Minister went off on Facebook because during the wildfires, they're not posting the up-to-date information. They are not featuring the news that can actually save lives of people that are on socials to see where a fire is, where it's heading, how to stay out of harm's way, what are the evacuation orders. The Prime Minister of Canada says it is so inconceivable that a company like Facebook is choosing to put corporate profits ahead of ensuring that local news organizations can get up-to-date information to Canadians and reach them where Canadians spend a lot of time. And I say look for this issue because this issue is going to come up heavily during the election season and during these disasters, because these big companies got so used to pimping and profiting off the work of news agencies to give fodder for the content needed for their timelines, and now they don't want to pay. They don't want to pay that fair share. But in Canada, they're being forced to by a bill called C-18, the Online News Act, which is trying to make news organizations sustainable by making those digital intermediaries pay their fair share. Food for thought. And something important for us to support, those of us who like real information, fact-based, evidence-based reporting, as opposed to stuff people make up out the side of their necks. I'm Dominique DePrima, and you're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
The Los Angeles Urban League helps African American and others in underserved communities achieve true social parity, economic self-reliance, and civil rights. For over 100 years, Los Angeles Urban League has ensured our communities have access to careers with living wages, opportunities to start and grow businesses, and clear pathways to personal and professional growth. Programs like BizCamp, Construction Career Academy, Bob Business Ready, and B-Warp. The Black Wealth Attainment and Retention Program are examples of the ongoing events designed to make our centennial mission to rebuild Black Wall Street right here in LA a reality. To sign up for our newsletter or to support the Los Angeles Urban League with your time, talent, and donations, visit laul.org. That's laul.org. The Los Angeles Urban League is a proud sponsor of Urban Family Focus, Saturdays at 7 a.m. on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hello. I'm Jay Winnick. On 9/11, I lost my brave brother Glenn in the collapse of the World Trade Center. Glenn was a volunteer firefighter who died in the line of duty. Glenn's bravery inspired me to help start the nonprofit that's turned September 11th into a national day of service. For 9/11 this year, please join me by doing what Glenn would have done, taking time to help others. Please visit 911day.org to learn more.
I'm David Goldberg.
a bilingual elementary school teacher and president of the California Teachers Association. As we start a new school year, there's something new happening in California's public schools. They're called community schools, where families, students, educators, and communities are making decisions as one.
As a parent, I feel like we're really valued as partners in the education system.
Community schools are bridging the systems of academics with the community.
The curriculum is designed around the students and their academic needs.
I know community schools are working. We see it in parent involvement. We see it in student academics.
We saw double-digit gains in math, English, and reading scores.
It's a more innovative, holistic approach to educating students.
I really feel like this is the first time that we're really seeing a system change in our school.
It's innovative, fresh,
and they're already working.
We invite you to learn more about community schools as we come together to reimagine public education here in California. And that's why CTA brought you this message.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DePrima right now.
Right now, so I should add that Meta, the company that owns Facebook, said that Canada's legislation forcing them to start kicking in a little something for the news reporting that they like to post on their platforms misrepresents the value news outlets receive when choosing to use our platforms. In other words, it's back to the NFL cheerleader argument. Look at all the free publicity you're getting on our platform. Never mind the fact that we're profiting off your work. Look at all the exposure you're getting. And to me, that's one of those red flags when they start telling you about all the exposure you're going to get. The next thing you're going to hear is that you won't be paid for your work. The Prime Minister of Canada says that Facebook's move to block news content, according to CNN, is bad for democracy in the long run, in general. But in the middle of an emergency, i.e. a fire, earthquake, hurricane, real or fake, that it becomes even more important. That a lot of people do spend most of their time on social media. So if they need to evacuate, then somebody needs to be on socials telling them. And I hope that this emergency and the fact that this criticism is coming from such a high level, saying, look, social media, if you got to kick in a few pennies or dollars to pay for the work that keeps people coming back to your platforms, that's what you got to do. It is your responsibility to provide this content in emergencies, free or not free. And honestly, it gets back to that debate about whether or not social media platforms should be public utilities. I think the disaster we've seen with Twitter under the leadership of the supposed business genius Elon Musk is a good indicator that maybe some of our social media platforms should be public utilities, or they should be regulated like public utilities. I sound hesitant because I don't want to be like, oh, well, you started this company that everyone loves, so now we're going to take it from you. But when you look at the demise of Twitter and how since the takeover and its transformation into X, it's putting less and less factual information and more misinformation out there. I think about the elections. How does that impact elections? How does that impact us in a natural disaster? And so I feel like there has to be a balance, just like we do with water and power. The public interest, right? What keeps people safe? What access do people have a right to? And then what are the rights of that private business owner? Because, it's getting real. And I think we've got an election coming up with a new Twitter, I guess you could call it, a new X. And that is going to play a role. We are going to have to look at how we regulate these folks. We should have been looking at it before. We've seen at least 2 elections that have already been negatively impacted, particularly by Twitter. but also Facebook, and to some degree, I imagine, Instagram, although I haven't seen the data on that. And so it's not something we can keep looking the other way or, hiding our heads and pretending everything's fine. Everything ain't fine. And it's going to get less fine if these organizations decide that they don't want to pay for the news that they distribute. We can just get free made-up news from the Ben Shapiros of the world. That, my friends, is not a good look. And it's very bad for democracy here or anywhere in the world. It's not too late to call me. In fact, it's the perfect time. 800-920-1580. 800-920-1580. We are KBLA Talk 1580. 40 acres and a mic.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to here with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Ray Richardson, your sports connection here at KBLA Talk 1580. Join me and my co-host Neil Scarborough every Saturday night at 7 for Out of Bounds, the show that brings some flavor to the world of sports for 60 minutes. We take you beyond the scores and press conferences. We give you our point of view, the way black folks see what's going down. You can join the conversation and give us your analysis at 1-800-920-1580. Out of Bounds every Saturday night at 7 on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
You like the style, though.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African-American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in standing for voting rights. When We All Vote is a leading national nonpartisan initiative on a mission to change the culture around voting and to increase participation in each and every election by helping to close the race and age gap. Created by Michelle Obama, When We All Vote brings together individuals, institutions, brands, and organizations to register new voters across the country and advance civic education for the entire family and voters of every age to build an informed and engaged electorate for today and generations to come. When We All Vote empowers their supporters and volunteers to take action through voting, advocating for their rights, and holding their elected officials accountable. Please visit whenweallvote.org to stand up for your rights, voting rights. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
We're not for everybody, but we're for everybody. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
All right, so we're in a whole era. You know that. I'm not telling you any breaking news. Where social media is playing a very impactful role in everything, right? From the relations between men and women to our perceptions of celebrities to, how we deal with a pandemic or epidemic. And so that's why I was bringing this up. I think Europe has done a much, as an entire continent, especially I'm talking about the EU, has done a stronger job of regulating and understanding the impact and how we need to manage not only misinformation, but invasion of privacy, the selling of data, the marketing to kids, all of those things that have become unintended consequences of social media. And when you look at, and not to just target Elon Musk, because he's not the only one, but he's probably the most out there example when we see the demise of X. Musk says that their revenue is down 60%. And by the way, X, when it was Twitter, was never known for its massive revenue generating capabilities. In fact, people kept saying, when is this thing going to get monetized in the way that it should? They've got all these users. It's impacting presidential elections and national debates, but it's still not a moneymaker. Well, that money's down 60%. And Musk is blaming the Anti-Defamation League. Says that because they say that hate is rising on Twitter, that it's impacting advertisers, that advertisers are under pressure from the ADL, and as such, they're not going to buy on Twitter. So he's saying, this is a quote, "To clear our platform's name on the matter of anti-Semitism, it looks like we have no choice but to file a defamation lawsuit against the Anti-Defamation League. Oh, the irony." ADL won't comment because they don't comment on legal threats. But they did say that they recently met with the leadership of the organization, including the CEO, this woman, Linda Yaccarino, who Musk brought in to take over. But it seems like he's still running things, at least as far as the constant social media postings and opinings regarding the company, which must make it almost impossible for this woman to run the company. She meets with them and thanks the ADL CEO, saying it was a strong production, that they'll have a strong and productive partnership built on good intentions and candor. Then 2 days later, Musk says, we're suing these, whatever. And there's a hashtag ban the ADL that's going all over X, as Twitter is now called. And so he's declaring war. I don't think that's going to help his business, but it's back to this conversation where the legal strategies or policies or laws around social media, the way we use them, the way they are regulated, is not up to date with their impact on everything from what our kids see to people's addiction to porn to how they vote in elections. And this is something we are going to have to address. Not today, though. Next up, we're doing a deep dive. We're talking about herbs for health and beauty and the secrets of sea moss with McCoy Zeno. That's next on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.